Students, this is my lecture number 5. In this lecture, we are going to study cloning vectors. You already know what are the cloning vectors. Cloning vectors are those structures, devices which are used for the cloning of desired DNA segment. I have told you in recombinant DNA technology, generally we use 4 types of cloning vectors. They are plasmids, bacteriophages, bacterial artificial chromosome and yeast artificial chromosome. Generally, plasmids and bacteriophages are preferred. What is a plasmid? A plasmid is a circular molecule of DNA which is present in some of the bacteria like Escherichia coli bacteria, Salmonella typhimurium bacteria. These plasmids are totally different to the genetic material of the bacteria. We all know the genetic material of the bacteria is called nucleoid. That is a different thing, and plasmid is a different thing. Plasmid is a self-replicating circular molecule of DNA. Generally, plasmids carry genes against antibiotics, and these genes give antibiotic resistance to bacteria. Generally, we remove these plasmids from the bacteria, cut with the help of restriction enzymes, and then we insert in these plasmids the desired gene, the DNA segment of interest, and form a recombinant DNA. After forming the recombinant DNA, we again send this plasmid into the bacteria where it replicates. Different plasmids have different ability to replicate. Some of the plasmids, when they are sent to bacteria, they only form 1 or 2 copies per cell. But some of the plasmids have quite high ability to form 50 to 100 copies per cell. So, the other option is the use of a bacteriophage. How the bacteriophage is used as a cloning vector? Actually, we all know what is the way of bacteriophage to attack a bacteria. Bacteriophages are those viruses that attack bacteria. When they get attached at the surface of the bacteria, they transfer their genetic material into the bacteria like this. And when we use bacteriophages as a cloning vector, what we do? We make a recombinant DNA and place that recombinant DNA in the genetic material of the bacteriophage. And when DNA of the bacteriophage gets transferred from bacteriophage to bacteria, the DNA segment which we have joined in the genetic material of bacteriophage, that also gets separated. And when it multiplies inside the bacteria, the desired DNA segment also gets multiplied. Thus, we use bacteriophage as a cloning vector. Okay. Now, we are going to see the features of cloning vectors. Over here, we are using plasmid as a cloning vector. These are the features that must be present in a cloning vector. The first is origin of replication, ORI. We all know what is ORI, or origin of replication. In my earlier lectures, I have told you about ORI, origin of replication. Origin of replication is that site which must be present on a vector. At least one ORI must be present, because without ORI, a plasmid or a bacteriophage or any other vector that can't multiply. I have already told you, as we have 23 pairs of chromosomes in our cells, all of our chromosomes have ORI on them, because without an ORI, A DNA segment cannot replicate. That's why ORI is called origin of replication. Whenever we form a recombinant DNA molecule, that recombinant DNA molecule is when sent to a bacteria. Inside the bacteria, that recombinant DNA gets multiplied. The number of copies formed by the recombinant DNA will depend upon the strength of ORI. If ORI has good strength, it will form a number of copies. And if it has a weak strength, it will form less number of copies. And the other feature of a cloning vector is selectable markers. There must be present at least 2 selectable markers in a cloning vector. We are seeing a plasmid which is called PBR 322. PBR 322 is a plasmid which was originally taken from Escherichia coli bacteria. Later on, it was genetically modified. On this plasmid, we can see 2 selectable markers. You can see there is a gene AMPR and a gene TETR. These 2 genes are selectable markers on PBR 322 plasmid. This gene gives plasmid resistance against antibiotic ampicillin, and this gene gives plasmid resistance against antibiotic tetracycline. These 2 selectable markers are present on PBR 322. These selectable markers tell us that after making the recombinant DNA, the desired recombinant DNA has transformed into a bacteria or not. With the help of this selectable marker, we separate transformed bacteria and non-transformed bacteria. With the help of same selectable marker, we also see whether recombinant DNA molecule has formed or not. And the third feature of a cloning vector is cloning sites. Yes, there should be present a number of cloning sites on in case of PBR 322, you can see 8 cloning sites of different restriction enzymes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. These 8 restriction sites are present on the PBR 322. You can see one thing. So far, a restriction site for a particular restriction enzyme is concerned, there is only one site. There is one site for EcoR1, there is one site for SAL1, there is one site for VANH1. The reason is when we have to perform an experiment of recombinant DNA technology, we have to use that particular restriction enzyme. And we have to open the plasmid like this. Means we have to give only one cut on the plasmid. If plasmid is like this, if we have to cut the DNA, cut the plasmid with the help of a restriction enzyme, there should be present only one side so that plasmid gets opened like this. If there are present more than one restriction sites of a particular restriction enzyme, the plasmid will not work because it will get divided into a number of pieces depending upon the restriction sites of that restriction enzyme. In that case, our experiment will automatically get failed. Stop.